Okay, so we got done with week 5. It was pretty good football all around, I think. That may have been because some bad teams were on bye weeks, but I think there was some good football played, some close games, some exciting games, some upsets. I think it was a good week overall. So I'll break down each team, what we learned, starting with the Jets. They've been very inconsistent, but that was a great win against the Falcons on Monday Night Football. But inconsistency will come back to bite them. But that's what you get when you have a rookie quarterback, and he'll continue to grow. And he looked very good on Monday night. For the Falcons, are you kidding me? You cannot beat the Jets on Monday Night Football with your season on the line, really. Um, Obviously, 1-4, they've dug themselves into a hole. I don't see them making the playoffs at this point. I think there's a lot of problems on that team, and they'll have to figure those out. Uh, Buffalo, obviously not this year. It looked like they might have a chance a little bit, but the manual injury obviously hurts. You want your rookie quarterback to grow, but maybe next year you'll develop. There is talent on this Buffalo team. For the Browns, that Brian Hoyer injury hurts because it looks like they might be somewhat competitive this year. I think Rob Chudzinski's very good, but Brian Hoyer going out, I don't think Brandon Whedon's the answer. So we'll see how he plays. He did get the win on Thursday night, so we'll see. Seattle, they aren't invincible. Obviously, this is a team that can be beat. They showed their weakness. They can't win them all. Um, but they looked good in some areas. I think that defense really let them down, and that's not going to be the case every week. The Colts played a good game, and you have to give props to them. As for the Colts, they're for real. They beat the NFC powerhouses, the 49ers and the Seahawks, in back-to-back weeks. That's a very tough job to do. They have played very well this season, and with Trent Richardson, that helps being that plotter, that every down back that they need. That can really just eat away and wear down defenses. So don't look at his yards per carry. Look at the way he wears down defenses. That changes the dynamic of the offense. I really think Indy has a real shot this year. Um, New Orleans, man, that pass rush is really good. They can really get to the quarterback. They've done it 2 consecutive weeks. I really think that the Saints are looking like the team to beat in the NFC. That offense with Breeze and Jimmy Graham is really strong. The defense is a lot better this year. I can see them going a long way. The Bears, the pass defense is struggling. They couldn't stop Breeze and Jimmy Graham. Not many teams can, but you expect the Bears to at least slow them down, and I don't think they did. Also, their pass protection is a little weak, but I think they can win the NFC North. They just have to get better in those areas. For Baltimore, they got to run the football, and that was obvious. When you didn't run the football last week, last week they struggled a little bit. This week they ran it 40 times and won the game. They got to base their game around the run, and I think John Harbaugh realizes that now. For Miami, you have to protect the quarterback. They're on pace to break the record for most allowed sacks in a season. That's not acceptable. When they went 3-0, we were looking, hey, maybe they could be a sleeper team this year, but unless they get that pass defense protected or pass protection better, I don't see them going anywhere. For Houston, Schaub needs to get it fixed. Whatever's going wrong, he needs to get it fixed. Whether it's mental, physical, he needs to get it fixed because they're going to keep rolling him out there, and if Houston wants to go to the playoffs this year, they need him to be better. For San Francisco, they got the win, looked very good running the football. There's still problems with Colin Kaepernick. He only completed 6 passes, and that's an issue. They are not the same team they were last year. And Kaepernick, there's something wrong with him. He doesn't seem quite right. And Jim Harbaugh needs to figure that out. For the Panthers, is Newton really their franchise quarterback? Throwing 3 interceptions, you don't really expect that. And I get he's still young, but he's got to be developing by now, and it doesn't seem like he is. So they have to decide now whether Rivera stays, whether Newton stays, and start building from there. For Arizona, They looked better. They're only one game back of the Seahawks in the NFC West, so they have a chance this year. And it wouldn't surprise me if they got a wild card spot. This is a good team, and they look better. There's still some issues, but they may surprise some teams. So watch out for the Cardinals. Uh, New England. Tom Brady has problems this year, and I know people are saying his receivers, his line, whatever, right? But Brady has always made receivers look good in the past, and he's not doing that this year. His completion percentage is down, his touchdowns are down, everything. He doesn't look like the same Brady, and I'm wondering what's gone wrong with him. For Cincy, you got to give them some credit. That defense is very good, especially when they have rain on their side and poor weather. That defense is a very, very good defense, but that offense does need work. In Detroit, they definitely need Calvin Johnson, and that was obvious. What he does to defenses is remarkable. They need him on the field every down if they want to have a chance of going anywhere this year. For Green Bay, they need Eddie Lacy. Him running for 99 yards is fantastic. If they can get their ground game going, the Packers can be a very, very good dual threat team. For Philadelphia Eagles, they need Vic, and they need him healthy. He got injured, and yeah, they won the game, but it was the Giants. They have a real shot of winning the NFC East, but they need Vic healthy. I could see them winning the NFC East over the Cowboys, but Chip Kelly has to keep Vic from getting hit. For the Giants, that defense is bad. Eli Manning's been bad. You cannot turn over the ball like they do and win football games. I really think they got to go into rebuild mode now, but I think they'll be hesitant to do that. And they're the Giants. I can see why, but I really think that they got to start going into rebuild. For Kansas City, they're winning based on their run game and their defense. Jamal Charles and that defense are very, very good. And that's kind of atypical of an Andy Reid team. In Philadelphia, he did it with a passing heavy attack, but I think he knows how to adapt to his players, and that's what makes him a great coach. That's what makes Kansas City so great. For the Titans, Ryan Fitzpatrick, he wasn't too bad, but I do think they need Locker. I don't see him making the playoffs this year, but maybe next year. And Locker's the long-term answer, not Ryan Fitzpatrick. For Jacksonville, I really thought they could win a game this year, especially against St. Louis, but losing Luke Joeckel really kills this team. Blaine Gabbert's obviously not the answer. If you saw that pick against St. Louis, he's obviously not the answer. They got to roll out somebody else because he's proven he's not going to be a successful quarterback in the NFL. So they need to roll somebody else out there, but they also got to be wary because you don't really have an offensive line to speak of right now, and that was an area that was strong 2 weeks ago, and after trading Monroe, losing Joeckel, they're really done for the year. They're 0-16 easily. I'm calling that at this point. There's no doubt in my mind they go in 0-16. For the Rams, that run defense, it's still not good. There's still some issues. Yeah, they got the win, but it was against Jacksonville. So it's kind of hard to tell with this team. Let's kind of contain our excitement for a couple more weeks. The Broncos, there was a sign of vulnerability from the Broncos. I really think that teams figured something out on that defense. They get Von Miller back soon. They're going against Jacksonville this week, so that'll be a breeze. But yeah, they need to figure something out on that defense because I don't see Peyton Manning throwing 5 touchdowns a game, even though he's done it to this point. I just don't see it happening. Can't keep up that pace. So that defense needs to improve. On the other hand, you got to give Dallas credit. Tony Romo was fantastic. This is the year I think he's really finally turned a page. Yeah, he threw the interception late. Who frickin' cares, really? Like, it cost the team the game. You can say he choked. He's not clutch, but people throw interceptions. It wasn't a terrible interception. It was a bad decision. But the guy threw for 500 yards and 5 TDs. You got to give him credit for that. I really think he's really been fantastic this year. I think he'll continue to be fantastic, and I think he will win the NFC East for the Cowboys. For the Chargers, that was just embarrassing on a late Sunday night. You can't lose to your division rival like that. It's just if you want to be a good team, if you want to be a playoff team, you got to win those types of games, and they didn't, and that's why the Chargers are going nowhere this year. As for Oakland, Terrell Pryor, man, who knew he would come out of nowhere this year? That guy, I think he's going to be a really solid quarterback. I think with this day and age, athletic quarterbacks are really taking over, and Pryor is leading the charge this year with them. He makes that team look so much different. He's just a really fantastic quarterback. That's it for NFL Week 5. We will get back to Week 6 on Thursday. I'll get you my picks. Follow me on Twitter in the meantime, and check out the blog, and we'll be back with you next week.